Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Magical Witchy World TV. I am Starr Ravenhawk.
And I am Rhonda Allen, and tonight our guests are.
I know, right? We had to do the whole thing just for us two. So tonight, as you can
We
guess, we are
did.
proud to be
It's
interviewing
only fair.
ourselves so you can have some further
Yeah.
insights into who we are on this Magical Witchy World TV. Hey!
Yes, indeed. This is what our 25th show? Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think it's
25th,
our
25
25th
weeks
show,
we've been at
and
this?
we never thought to do anything about ourselves. So we
Exactly.
had a guest lined up, and he was not able to make it. So we said, let's just do ourselves, So
Exactly.
there we are.
Exactly.
Hope you can join us and enjoy it. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So, without further ado, I will begin with Rhonda's bio. So, Rhonda is a medium, psychic, and reader of both oracle and tarot cards, as well as an instructor and the founder of Northern New Jersey Tarot. She purchased her first deck of divination cards at age 12 and has worked with them ever since. Rhonda has studied tarot with some of the most respected and accomplished readers, authors, and deck designers in the tarot community and continues her studies by presenting at and attending annual international conferences. She is a contributing author of Llewellyn's Witchy's Sun Sign, sorry, series book number 8, Scorpio Witch, coming out in March 2024. Rhonda also offers tarot instructions, primarily as a tarot instructor at the online Magical Path School, offering virtual, live, and self study tarot courses. As a magical practitioner, she was most recently a member of the Assembly of the Sacred Wheel and is currently a member of the Order of the Golden Shield, a group of magical tech creators and Order of the Golden Griffin, as priestess of Ananke. Her passion is with cartomancy, and her goal with every reading is to provide her client with a positive, insightful, and meaningful experience. And I believe if you would
Yay.
see her, you would be able to reach her at rhondaallen.com. Yay!
Yes. Yay. Thank you, Star. And now, your bio.
Okay.
Starr is a Trini Canadian who fell in love with the magical arts from a very young age, independently studying and practicing witchcraft in all its many facets of magics from her many travels around the world, as well as from elders in the US for over 40 years. She is the founder and elder of the New York City Wiccan Family Temple, the first witch temple in New York City, ordaining its priestesses to be licensed state reverends, and founder of the WFT Academy of Pagan Studies, the first witch school in NYC. Formed and runs Witches Fest USA, a pagan fair, and formerly ran the NYC Witches Masquerade Ball from 2005 to 2019. She is also the owner of Charm by Star Store, or Charm by Star dot Store, a witchcraft e-shop for those of discerning tastes and needs. She has been giving lectures and teaching workshops related to witchcraft and its many practices at witchy events, universities, and colleges around the U.S. Starr co created the Journey to the Realm of the Underworld Graveyard Mysteries, designed to be a therapeutically magical experience for each person. She is a reverend, high priestess, teacher, and elder, and intuitive witch. She currently lives in New York City with her son. And as she says, no one person knows everything. So always keep learning. Free your mind, educate it, and the rest will follow. You can find Star on several locations, but I'm going to read them off here. Charmed by Star Store, the Wiccan Family Temple.org, witchesfestusa.org, and wftacademyofpaganstudies.org. So yay, Starr!
So you girl,
So
lots accomplished, right?
lots
That
going
is
on.
so awesome.
Exactly.
I know,
Lots of work.
right? All
Yeah,
right. So I
absolutely.
am going to begin with the questions that we're going to be asking one another.
Yeah.
So over the
All
years,
right on.
as many of us refer to
Mhm.
ourselves to many different things, and we evolve with what we want to call ourselves. So I would like to ask you, what do you call yourself? And what do you call yourself now? And what have you called yourself in the past?
Okay, fair enough, right? We ask these questions every
Say
week.
ever.
So, what do I call myself now? Witch. I do call myself witch. And what did I call myself in the past? I have to say, as a young person, as a very young person, I aspired to be a witch, but I didn't feel that witch was a real thing. So I did it in a fun way. It wasn't until I really became, I would say, a young adult when I actually started calling myself witch. I morphed into and really studied Wiccan studies for many years. But at this point today, I do just call myself witch.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah. And now turning that page, what about you?
Oh, well, let's
What,
see.
yeah.
I kind of, emulated a bit of you. When you're younger, you're kind of thinking you have your wand and all the different tools and you're doing different things. Um, and, I started out kind of very interested, picking up every book I could read on it. Um, and when I met this woman, and as I got older, she kind of said, my husband had passed away by then. He was always supportive though, but this woman, and she kind of, basically went at me for being, wanting to be interested in anything like that, the witch. And she said it's the devil and all the different things. So I don't know why I
Yeah.
listened to her, and I kind of threw the books away. And then I just said, after a while, I just said, you know what, this is ridiculous. This is what I like, this is what I am, and I'm going to go with it. Um, I don't think I ever called myself Wiccan or anything like that, because she was fighting me on that too, and telling me I should just
Mm-hmm.
call myself Wiccan. And then I just kind of said, but I'm not Wiccan. Although the word Wiccan just means more than one witch.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Mm-hmm.
kind of said, I just want to be called a witch. This is what I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
aspire to be. This is what I know I am. And I just kind of went with it. So I didn't kind of do any
Yeah.
evolving into different names of categories of myself. I just, this is what I am. I am not going to hide behind it or hide behind anything else. I think the only time if you call it hiding, was when I went to get my surgery in 2015, and the hospital
Mm.
said, you know, um, the hospital said, "So, what is your religion?" This was at New
Yeah.
York University. And I just said, "Well, I don't see anything here." And I was going down the list, and I was going to go
Yeah.
put other. And then I saw Wicca, and I was like, "Ooh, Wicca!" And I was like
Yeah.
so excited.
Yeah.
I squealed, and they were like, "What?" I was like, "You've got one for me here," kind of thingy. And I was like,
Yes.
I said, "I'll claim that." And so it was kind of
Right
cool.
on.
It was so nice seeing it, because there was, every time you go down the
Yes.
list for different things, it was other. And you're like, "Okay, I'm the other."
Yes.
So that
Yes.
was like so empowering and so cool. So I was like, held on to
Yes.
that with both hands and was like,
That is progress. I have to say the same. I
yeah,
I can
yeah,
say the same thing.
so it was kind of
If
cool.
going to the
That was
hospital
cool.
or doctors and they ask, "What's your religion?" and I put religious affiliation, Wiccan. That's the closest to what
Yeah,
I could
because
go to.
that's
So
all they
and I have practiced it, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't say
And
it's not part
they're
of my
honestly
heritage.
not willing to put the word witch. I can see that. So
Right.
I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's better than
Yeah.
other.
That's it. That's
It's
it.
better
And
than
it's,
othering
it's a
me.
recognized
So I'm cool
religion,
with that.
so
Yeah. So
right on. So now let's turn to the question, what brought you to
I
this
vey.
world? What brought you here?
Honestly, when the I questioned a lot of things, as my mom was, as a black person, you
Mhm.
kind of, whatever religion your parents are. My mom went through
Mhm.
the whole ah, kaleidoscope
Mhm.
of them, and
Mm.
now she's Christian, but she started off with
Right.
Catholic, and I went to Catholic school and all of that. That's kind of like what private school was. So I went
Mm.
to Catholic school for a while, but I questioned the priest a lot, and he did not like that, because they had a prayer
Mhm.
book back then. This is how old you can
Yes.
pray back, right? Because I don't think they have that anymore. They had a prayer book at one point, And I questioned, why are we studying this prayer book when we have the Bible? And he smacked
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
Now, that's something to
Wow.
my mom. It's like she's the only one that should be smacking me, no one else. I think she
Yeah.
almost killed him. She was
Oh my
strangling him
gosh.
and everything, and she was like, "Don't ever
Wow.
touch my kid again." And so I went from that to questioning everything else, and I'm just like,
Mm.
none of this did anything for me, and I
Mhm.
just kind of the only way I could practice is to leave my mom's house, honestly,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you just can't. I'll be hiding everything, and I don't like to hide. I like to be out and open. So at prompt age of 18, I'm out. I was in my
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
apartment, my own job, my own going to school, paying my way and everything. And I was able to then start going all out and really pushing myself to different things with it and everything and trying to learn
Yeah.
more, you know? And I just kind of
So
went
it
from
was
there. Yeah. What about
yes,
you?
from young. Like you, yes, also questioning in the sense that I remember also my parents had I'm the youngest of four kids with my mother and father. My dad's remarried, so I have two younger half brothers. But my I'm the youngest of the four, and we were all in parochial schools at some point. And I remember those prayer books. This is an
So
Episcopalian
you know what
church,
I'm
so it's
talking
similar
about.
to Catholicism. It's yes, 'cause I still have those prayer books
I
somewhere.
don't. I don't know what
Um,
happened to it.
I still have them. I do. I let's see. So in parochial school, I remember chapel every morning and doing the Our Father in chapel, and always adding the Our Father and Mother under my breath because it didn't seem right that you would ignore the
I
mother.
know. I
You know,
know.
that was it was like this is there's how was this possible? So in any case, that's how it started. But I also grew up in a house that I have to say, thanks to my mother and primarily my oldest brother, I had great exposure to other things. My mother, although
Nice.
she would never consider herself a witch, she did have kitchen witches in her kitchen.
See?
She did have, think she was the one that was, listen, she would read me my bedtime stories were Edgar Allan Poe, and that is not a joke.
Okay. All
My
right.
mother's a Scorpio. She was a Scorpio who was as weird as the next.
No, my
But
goodness. That's
very
awesome.
traditional in certain ways, but then also, so I had exposure. My brother is 13 years older than me. He was way into ATRs, African traditional religions. So we're talking 60s into the 70s.
Wow.
And so I had exposure to what he was reading,
Lucky you.
getting engaged in. So it was not strange to have, you know,
Right.
incense and decks and reading the books and having the
Girl,
discussions.
you were so
And
lucky.
I was lucky. Although it was, I mean, for me to burn incense and I'm 12 years old and light candles and I'm on the floor
Oh,
with my cards, it was not frowned upon. And I do have
but
to say I was lucky for that.
you just reminded me of something because my mom didn't do it, but do remember my great grandmother walking around the
Mm.
house, and when you think about it, she was sensing out the house, like with the cauldron
Yeah.
thing, and it had a string, a metal string to it, and she was walking around the house, and I just
Mhm.
thought it was normal. I did not think
Yes.
anything about it, but mom never did it. And to this day,
See.
when she calls me, she always ends the conversation with "Jesus' precious blood rush all over you," and I'm like, "Mom, that is just so gross," but okay.
Oh my god. You know, some of the things, the things. But it's what works for
Yeah,
her,
I
right?
know, right? I'm like, okay, mom, whatever.
So,
Okay.
um,
So okay, so now that we did that,
yeah,
from your point of
yes,
view, what does it mean
yes.
to be a witch?
What does it mean to be a witch? I'm going to use some language that's going to get pretty, oh my gosh, a little stodgy perhaps, but I'm going to say it. It is really about the the discipline it takes to actually do the work to develop self. And it is a I feel it is a huge it's a lot of work. It is discovery of self. It pushes us to push beyond our comfort zone. Um, but it sits within each one of us to discover our abilities, our strengths, our talents, our connection to spirit. It is within each one of us to do that work. And I know it is wonderful to have the community and to have elders and guides to help us on that journey to do that development and that practice of what? Recognizing that we are a part of the all that is here, the here, the above, the below, the between, and that we can, in fact, work with and influence those areas. So it is it is part of it is a huge part for me. A witch is somebody who takes that responsibility and does the work to
Mm,
develop those
I
pieces.
like that. That's beautiful. Yeah, honestly. And for
And
me, and sorry, were you
mhm.
finished?
I was just going to say, and finally, and also just to feel that there, while it is, it may feel challenging. There's a huge amount of freedom, and that it sits within that person. I have challenge. I am really challenged when I see so many people looking to others to say, well, I don't know what it means to be a witch, and how can I be a witch, and do I just do this thing and that makes me a witch? Well, it's within you. You are ultimately the magical tool, most powerful tool there is in your universe is you. So, embrace that and work with the others, get guidance from the others, but it's within you.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Well,
Anyway.
anyways, yeah. For myself, it's a couple of things. I think I like that I can take or accountability for all of my own actions. I'm not. I
Mhm.
don't like.
Mhm.
We live in a society of where no one seems to take accountability for the things that they do. They'll find any and anyone to or anything out there to blame other than themselves. I
Mm.
think
Yeah.
we to me as a witch, it makes me feel like I'm accountable for my actions, my deeds, my thoughts, my everything I try to do and accomplish.
Yeah.
If I screw up, then I screwed up. You know,
Mhm.
even when I think it may be partially someone else's, I still say it's my fault because I gave that person the allowance and the means to be able to have access to certain things. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It is still
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
responsibility. And I will
Mhm.
always take accountability for everything that's within my sphere of what I'm trying to control and do and whatever. I'm a control freak. I admit it entirely. So I like the fact that
Yeah,
I
I
can
get it.
I'm able to see all this power within myself and that I can control things, certain things within my atmosphere. And if I can't control it, I kind of
Yeah.
just basically say fuck it and I walk away. And I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. And I'm it's the
It's your
funny thing with when
universe.
I say that, I literally mean exactly that and I forget it and I move on and I try
Mhm.
something else. And people have a
Your
hard
universe.
time with me the fact that I could literally remove something from my mind and move on, and they're
Mm.
still
Mhm.
harboring on it, and I'm like, what? No, 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 hun, I'm way gone on that. I'm
Yeah.
gone to
Yeah.
something else, that kind of a thing. And I think we need to be able to. I just like all of those parts of it. I also think that being able to, like you mentioned, people reaching and saying, what can I do to be a witch? Am I a witch or am I not? It's there.
Yeah.
It's just being a witch is a very much a self journey. It's no one else's journey but your own. And
Right
so
on.
for you to empower yourself and work with it from there, see who you are, take yourself on that journey. It's not shadow work only, it's everything all together, and accepting that
Absolutely.
you control many things within your sphere. Don't treat it as a fad. If this is really who you are, then go all
Yeah.
out and be you. Be true to you at all
Yes.
times. If nothing else, and
Agreed.
even if you think you're doing the wrong thing, be true to yourself.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
and everything else around us. I think because if we as human beings, it's the same as with climate change. People don't accept responsibility, a lot of people, for the fact that there's climate change, because we as human beings have a leave a large footprint on the earth and we damage
Yes.
things. We are the worst predator on this planet,
Yeah.
and not
Truth.
accepting accountability for that is just like, are we children? Even kids
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
responsibility. Little children would say, I broke my bottle or I did this, but you have grown ass adults not accepting responsibility for their actions. So
Right,
all of that
right, right.
is part of it for me.
Yes.
If that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
there
All of that.
it's yeah, it's that, and it's always that and more. There's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
the
exactly,
and. There's
exactly.
always the
Yeah,
and.
yeah.
You have some traditional interpretations and definitions. Yes, there's all of
Yeah,
that,
there's
and
all of
but
that.
it's all
Yeah,
of that and.
yeah.
So tell me, how is magic a part of your
Oh
lifestyle?
bloody hell. Every day. It's you wake
Mhm.
up. My altar is right by my bedside. I wake up, kind of look at my different gods and goddesses on my altar, who many say should not be together. And I'm like, well, they're fine with it. And we have this nice chat with each other, smile, kiss.
Mhm.
I make sure I check offerings and everything. And, we kind of go,
Mhm.
peace out. I'm trying to do some stuff
Mhm.
today. And they understand me. We work well together.
Yeah.
And, my guides or whomever it is that's around, but mostly I deal with the altar first thing in the mornings. And then I kind of go with it from
Yes.
there with all the things I have to do. But everything should be everything in your life or in your home, or whether it's indoors or outdoors, should be all part of
Mhm.
your magical lifestyle. Everything becomes all part of it. It's not a fad. It's who you are. And if it's
That's
who
who
you
you are.
are,
Right on.
everything you do, from me leaving the house to finding a parking space to everything that I'm doing, is everything is my magic, and everything I want to
Yeah.
work on. And so magic is from the time I breathe, even the water I drink, like right now, or if I'm drinking tea or whatever it is, all of it.
Yeah.
I am
Yes.
not a great cook, but even when I make my breakfast and different things, hey, I'm not killing myself. At least that's edible.
No, I get it. Yeah,
So there.
differing.
Yeah. Okay. So what about you?
Truth. Yeah, that is it. And let's just be honest, when I first came to this work, if you will, it was, the mystery, the magic, the elusiveness, the it was all of the draw that brought me to this world. And knowing that it was there for me to discover, that was a part of it too. But so now at this stage, so working with it throughout the years, and I can tell you, I remember as a young kid, teenager, 13 years old, sitting in game at I used to well, we spent many years in Michigan, so I attended many a Wolverine football game in Ann Arbor, and I would in the stadium have I would be reciting this little chant to myself because I want my team to win. And I would do things and then blow it off into the field.
There you
I
go.
had no idea. Nobody taught me this stuff. But I was doing this just this was magic. It was a part of my world. At this point now, my shower begins, or like you, I get up in the morning,
Yeah.
there's my altar, and I will admit to this, the altar that I have one that I've neglected a little bit. This is
I
real
know,
world,
right?
y'all.
All right.
So I've been in and out of town. So one needs a little addressing, and
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
get
It gets
back
a
to
little
that.
bit dusty,
But
girl.
yeah, it needs some work, and this is just real world
Yeah,
truth.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
It
not gonna
needs
lie
dusting
about it. I'm
down.
not perfect. But, so there's that one, but it is part of my daily. So I get up, I do my acknowledgement to my guardians, guides, ancestors, and all of those who, angels, guardians, guides, and ancestors, because I do have angels in
Yeah,
my pen
yeah.
in
Me
my
too.
work.
Me too.
But so and and then it's like, okay, so then I can start my day, get my coffee going, do my affirmations. I acknowledge all of I give my gratitudes. I'm grateful for this, grateful for that. My shower is my washing away, grounding, washing away the old, inviting in the new. So, all of that. It is a part of my everyday. Yeah, it is a part of and when I find myself being overcome by not overcome, but losing sight of, or not adding or continuing to incorporate those practices in my everyday, I do notice um uh the I notice how things are not meshing as well. Let's put it that way. We'll notice how things are not meshing as well.
Uh,
And so it is important that we continue to keep the keep those everyday practices in our everyday. Yes, thank you and acknowledgement to all of those who are in the chat. Daryl, Rob, we appreciate all of you checking in on
Thank
us. We
you
so
for checking in
appreciate
with
it.
us.
Thank you for joining us here tonight. Yeah, so that's how magic is a part of my everyday. It is a part of my lifestyle. It is. From the acorns that sit in in my car because I do collect seeds.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
found objects are the items that go into my charm casting set, and I do find coins. I find coins everywhere. If I don't find a coin, I find coins everywhere. So magic is a part of my world. Anyway,
Okay. So, kind of tell us about what's important to you.
what's important right now for me, and when I think of the work that's been going on, I just spent a couple of days up at in Connecticut at uh, Harvest Gathering Harvest Gathering, Connecticut Wiccan Pagan Network
Oh, cool.
uh, event, and it was a great event, and anyway, point of fact, the most important thing for me right now is that rebuilding of community, reconnecting with people. So what's important for me is really seeing how to knit that that net again because things have fallen aside, things have fallen apart, and questions and conversation are really coming up. Some conversations that came out in one of the workshops was, what did I see as being an area of concern right now within the pagan community? And I have to say, it came out of some discussions we've had here on the show, which
Yeah.
was just noticing how other people have noticed I don't want to say retrenchment, but how things are becoming closed off again,
Mm,
that people are closing off. People are becoming a little bit more isolated within practices, meaning the pagan community. Some traditions are closing themselves off, and that was kind of a not a red flag, but something that stood out for me to say, pay attention to this. It's important how we stay connected.
right.
So when I see, what's important to me right now, it's how we connect, how we build community, and how we stay connected to each other
Right.
within the pagan community specifically.
Right. Hmm.
How about you, Star? What's
Um.
important to you right
Hmm.
now?
I think the health of the community. Um. I
Hmm.
don't mean just their physical
Mm,
health, but their spiritual health.
yeah.
It just kind of feels like the community is fragmented a bit.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um. This there just seems to be so much turmoil and um. I think in some ways we not that we're isolated and I'm
Mm,
not blaming the pandemic because the pandemic gave us other means of reaching out,
yes.
because I think it opened up other doorways, and that's always a good thing. The god or goddess Zoom was formed, and I still believe that
Hmm.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
He recreated himself, of communication, so that's
Hmm.
fine. But I do believe that um, it's made people feel that they need to in a way what you just said, it made people feel like they need to separate and rebuild themselves spiritually before they could reach out again to create that
Mm,
web or interconnection that you're talking about. um there's just a bit of air to this whole thing of people judging one another, people trying to one up one another and the different things, and it's causing a rift throughout the
yeah.
pagan community. I think they
Yeah.
forget there's a big wide world out there, big wide world, and
Yeah.
they forget you
Yeah.
don't want to be that little fish in that little pond and be the king of that little pond or the queen of that little pond and forget there's a big wide world out there that's bigger than you and I. um,
Yeah.
and if we're not viving to all be kings and queens. We just want to be able to be part of that whole pond and or that ocean and
Yes.
be part of it and just give what's necessary for us to be able to thrive
Right.
rather than just survive.
Exactly.
if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And I and
And
I
that's a huge point. Thank you for saying that. That's huge.
I yeah, and some things I don't really want to say quite,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
okay.
think we need to all sit back and look really hard at ourselves, accept responsibility for some things that we did or didn't do,
Mhm.
and step up
Mhm.
or step back if need be.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. All right.
So, do you want
Go
me to
ahead,
answer
girl.
this one? I'll
Go
start
ahead.
it then. Okay. Tell us about your relationship with community, since this kind of segues on what we were
I
just
know, right? It
talking
does.
about.
It
So,
does. Yeah,
yeah,
it
now let's
does.
being specific
Okay.
to
So I
community
can
now.
be more specific about what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yes,
I
please.
think our community is not just fragmented. I think they've gone, and it's like I don't like the words cancel culture at all because
Um.
it's been different words throughout centuries, and it's always been here. People act like it's a new thing.
Mhm.
Um, Again, it's a lot about accepting responsibility for our actions and our deeds and
Mhm.
our thoughts and what we're doing with people and how we affect people. I don't like to see our communities bullying one another because that's what you're essentially
Oof.
doing. We
Yeah.
watch the political figures bully people every freaking day, and then within
Yeah.
our community, there it sits and rests and marinates and permeates
Yeah.
and becomes part of the culture as well. And
Yeah.
you see it on all of social media, and I think it's so cowardly in a way because a lot of those people that bully people online,
Mhm.
if you meet them in person, you're like, come on, say it to my face.
Yeah.
Say it to my face.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And they will shut up
Exactly.
in a split second. They would shut up because you're there. And I'm that person. I will face you in a heartbeat. I will
Mhm.
put your
Mhm.
shit out on the main street, the public main street, and I will let everyone see
In a
both
minute.
my and your shit. I'm not just putting your shit, I'm putting my shit too, because I want them to
Yeah.
observe for themselves the whole thing and not just parts
Yeah.
of the whole. Because that's what people
Yes.
do. They get on social media and they put their little spin on it as to their points of view, and they bully as to
Yeah.
this is the reason why you guys all need to go behind me and go after that person. And this is what they do. And I'm like, you're all a bunch of bloody cowards.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if
Yes.
you can say that and do all those things to the person's face, then more power to you, but you can't. That's why you sit
Mm-mm.
behind your laptops or your computers and you do exactly that. And so the community I'm watching almost on a daily basis, I try to not to look at my feeds because it's just filled with people with many different things, pointing fingers at that person, saying that thing about that person, fat shaming that person,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And
It's a lot.
I
Yeah.
will tell you, I would admit to one person that I fat shame, and that's Trumpy. Unfortunately, I do that because he does that to other people. But outside of Trumpy, I don't do it to anybody else. So, to do that, I would stand behind anybody of any size, any age, any race, any whatever it is, and I would let them know that
Mhm.
we're there for them. And rather than I see that, I see people trying to shame people or cancel their right to be where they are or who they are
Mhm. Mhm.
or question who they are or their or their so-called integrity with different things. I mean, it happened with me
Yeah.
recently with Witches Fest, and I was so outraged because I'm like, it's very difficult to always be questioned because you're a certain race on
Yes.
especially where monies are concerned. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of those things that make my blood boil, and I will meet them all and I would say, here, take a good look, a gander at everything. You can see it all yourself. I really
Mhm.
don't give a shit. I would literally
Mhm.
show it to them
Mhm.
and I'm like, now let's say let's see you do that. Let's see
Mhm.
you say something about that. Let's see if you did put your money where your mouth is, kind of a thing.
So, and it is it's one thing that we have to recognize. What you're speaking about is it is it exists in the pagan community as it exists in the
Yeah, it
community
does.
overall,
Yeah,
right? So we're speaking about just
in
it
general,
exists
in general,
and
but also
in
in the pagan
general.
community. It's
Yes,
it's like,
and it is
I think it's
right.
because despite the fact of the way this world is right now, I hold the pagan community to a different, more higher
Mhm.
level of integrity and hopefully critical thinking and not just
Mhm.
sheeples. I hold them to a
Mhm.
higher um, uh, uh, recognition of what they will see and do and what they will stand for. So when I see
Yeah.
them following along with the general, I'm just sitting there going, "Are you bloody kidding me? I thought you were
Yeah.
smarter than that. I thought you were a critical thinker. I thought you were someone who could think for yourself outside of that box." Because one of the things that as witches or practitioners magically, we are good at thinking outside of the box.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when you follow the all of the general community and you're not living at that higher level, it feels like somehow you
It
failed yourself. You disappoint me.
Yeah. And well, it is the case. Everybody they're on their path doing
Yeah,
their stuff.
yeah,
I guess the most important piece for me when I see those types of things is if that person would then at least, because as you're saying, we do think outside the box necessarily. That's part of our work.
yeah,
But if people are open to or to being set, pointed out that, hey, what you're doing really is hurtful or
yeah, yeah,
it's creating an issue, if they can at least take that information in and then do something
yeah.
with it,
About it, you
let
know what
me
I
try to
mean?
help, let me try to, enlighten myself here with that, then okay,
Yeah.
because we're all on that path.
Because if
But
I if
yeah,
I
there are
hurt
those who
someone,
just
if
don't
I
do
hurt
it.
someone in any way, I would like them to tell me. And I
Yes.
will try to
Yeah,
correct it
right.
because I
Right.
have to accept
Right.
responsibility for that and correct that because it
Precisely so.
definitely was not
Precisely
intentional.
so. Precisely
You know what
so.
I mean?
Right
That
on.
kind of a thing. So how
Right
about for
on.
you?
Community. The community, it goes back to what we were talking about before. I think part of the biggest and one of the biggest things that I would love to see is the expansion of, the integration. I don't want to say integration of, but the expansion of feeling more comfortable in our own, as practicing as we practice in the everyday outside the pagan circle community. So I want us to feel a bit more comfortable outside of and interacting with and being a larger and more influential force
Yeah,
within that non-pagan community. I want pagans to be influential in non-pagan community. Okay,
absolutely.
that's basically
Absolutely.
it. I just we have numbers. We may not have huge numbers, but we can't just be, as you were saying, big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
We have to be outside that pond and have influence on the larger. So, politically engaged, socially engaged, working with the school boards, working with the whomevers.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
let
see
them
that
know
as
who
being
you are.
outside the yeah, it needs to happen and more frequently. I mean, just more frequently. That's
Mhm.
that's kind of where I'm happy to say that in conversations I'm having with other people. So either whether it was when we were out in Missouri at um
PSG.
um PSG, having conversations with people there and conversations with other events that we're at. It's refreshing to see the numbers of people, and
Interesting.
I'll say even people, 20, 30, 40, 40 years my junior, 30 years my junior, whatever, who are actively engaged with saying, hey, I work with the school board. Hey, I am a librarian. Hey, I am a,
Yeah.
and they're trying to bring awareness.
Yeah.
That for
Yeah.
me, that's huge for me. So
That
anyway,
is brilliant. That is brilliant.
yeah,
Thank you for
yeah,
saying that. That's really cool. I
yeah.
like that. Okay. So what would you like to see us as witches accomplish?
Wow, I would like to see us
I mean, you kind of
accomplish.
said it a bit there
Right.
just now.
Yeah, exactly. I really wanna see us, the mayor of the town, governor of the state.
Yeah,
I am
yeah,
serious. I want us to get to those levels where it is not strange or, if nothing else, let's just get, comfortable with, start just let's keep it realistic and make it to a thing where feeling, and it is difficult still. We're still in a world where it's difficult for someone to say, "Oh, are you going to church on Sunday?" Well, no, but I will be practicing ritual on such and such a day because I celebrate la di da. If when we can get comfortable saying that and not feel as though we're going to lose a job, lose a spouse, lose our
I
neighbor,
know. It's
you know,
difficult, yeah,
it's still difficult.
to
So,
navigate.
I mean, still navigating those barriers, that's kind of, let's just start there. I mean, I have, I would love to see these greater things uh, see witches accomplishing these bigger things. But let's just start with, can we just, keep a job and tell somebody that, yeah, I'm going to be doing a few things at Beltane this year or at Samhain, and it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah,
That would be nice. That would be nice.
yeah, yeah,
What
absolutely
about you,
correct.
Star? What do you want to see
Um,
us as
a
witches
lot of what you
accomplishing?
just said, but I was thinking of as you were saying it, I started thinking, a lot of those things will not be able to become what you would be accomplished unless we get more, not just to be activists, because a lot of us are activists with things. We want to
Mhm.
change things, the climates, the different things, but no one is going politically. If we don't
Yeah.
have a political voice, then they don't see us as a political power to not be able to
Right.
be reckoned with. You can't make changes if we don't have a voice representing us.
Yeah. Yes.
I remember when what's his Sybil Shepherd from
Mhm.
she did with Bruce Willis. I forgot that show they had a long time
I
ago,
forgot the name of the show.
but you
Yeah,
know
but
what I mean. When she won
yes.
an award, she said at the end, "Blessed be," and I was like, "Yes, she's a fucking witch."
Yes.
I know, and I was
Yes.
just, I was so happy to hear her say "Blessed be" because she felt comfortable enough to
Right.
say it, that I was just like, we need to have someone who is a congressperson or a senator
Yes.
or a governor or something, because we need representation just like anything else. And if
Yeah.
we don't have that representation, even if we, because we've had people who went, I know in New York there was a guy who did it, but you would never know.
Mhm.
He never spoke for witches. See, that's what I
Right.
mean.
Right. Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
you run, you have to be
Yeah.
able to speak truth to power and stay true to yourself, because you're there
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
represent the
Right.
us. Not
Yeah.
just your constituents are not just the witch community or the pagan community, but those that you represent for your neighborhood or whatever it
Right.
is.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it. But if you don't speak the words for us, because
Yeah.
you're choosing to go out there and we're pushing you to there, and then you don't speak the words for us, then how can we be represented? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can't
And
feel comfortable with that. And right now, with the way that things are with the woods witch hunt all the time,
oh my gosh,
you feel,
exactly.
you feel very much like, oh dear goddess, there's no way this
We
is going to
can't.
happen that way. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I would love to see that. I am not a
Yeah.
politician. I will never be one, because I'll speak too truthfully. I'd be
Yeah.
I
you know,
was like,
and
shut
I
your
and I
fucking mouth. And
it,
whatever,
it's
stop lying. And I would tell them that to their faces, and they're not gonna like
yep.
that very much. So I can't do that. I am not that politician. But there's a lot of brave and great people, and I will gladly support them financially and backing and
Right.
supporting them all the way. And we can't let them just get up there and not support them as they do it. We have to be there, letting them
Right.
know that we are the support system all the time. And that way they could keep
Right.
pushing to get us what we need. But until those
Right.
things happen, and we're looking towards the younger people now that are coming up. They're very frontal. They're very activist. They're very, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
they're brilliant, and,
Yes.
and the under 25 or the under 30, they're brilliant people. So I think that if they can just get out there, and we would support them and speak up, because then if we can,
Yes.
that's how representation is done. You place yourself in different places like a chessboard, so you can have
Yes.
a voice, have a say, and know, and people know, oh well, there's power behind that voice. We better not be pissing them
Y-
off, because there's
You
power behind
know.
that voice. That kind of a thing. So
Exactly.
that would be, that would be really nice. That would be really nice if we
That would
can
be
see a
that
lot
would
of
be
that
fabulous.
happen. I think that's maybe a wishful thinking, but aren't we there to do wishes? So
That's
wishes,
right.
people.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
I want to I just want to again chime in. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Rob, for your comment. We really appreciate that. We appreciate that. Monica, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us here tonight as well. Just wanted to comment on all of those comments coming in through the chat. So now that we've done this, tell us about some of the things coming up for you, Star. What are you
Oy.
working on? What are some of the projects?
I want to make Witch Fest
or
bigger.
things you're thinking about.
I want to I
Yeah.
want to I want to really write, like put together my book, but my thoughts, and like not just the pages I have different places to put, kind of put it all together, make it cohesive. And
Yes.
I want to write some more, which is a lot of work, and I want to make Witches Fest bigger and
Yes.
better. Um,
Yeah.
and to accomplish that, I would need support. So I'm letting you people know out right away. We will need support to do that if we want to make
Yes.
it bigger.
We
So if
go
you're
we
interested,
will
let us
definitely
know.
need support.
Okay. So
Yes.
that's something I would like to see get done. And I yeah, yeah. And if anybody, like I
That is
said before, with the activism part, if you guys are going to become political, I'm there for you. I'm so there for you.
right on.
What
That is
about you,
fabulous.
Rhonda?
Well, first of all, let me cheer you. Let me cheer you on and say yes to both the expansion and the growth of Witches Fest. So I'm here to help. I continue to
I
help
know
with
you are so there.
supporting that effort. But at the same time, I really want to see you get your all the work that you have done and contributed. I'm a huge proponent of. Yes, we must hang on to and not lose the information. So, what you teach your students is one thing, fabulous, but being able to compile it so that it's
Yeah, yeah.
available
That's
in book
hard.
format in some way, that needs to happen because that needs to
Yeah,
get handed
yeah. Because
on.
that's been a lot
That
of
is a
years of
huge thing.
teaching. That's been a lot of
Yeah,
years of
that,
teaching. Yeah.
yeah, we can't be losing that. We don't want to lose that. Projects that I'm working on right now. Um, the biggest project that I have on a really short timeline is to finish recording. So the Magical Path School, the online school that I teach at, primarily most of my well, right now, all of my classes are on the Magical Path School virtually. That's where all of my tarot classes are right now. I used to do in person, but now I do live through the Magical Path School. But we are also now having the um, virtual class or the online classes available as a self study. So I'm finishing all the recordings of all those classes, and that's like
That's a lot. That's a
major,
lot. That's
major
hard to do.
that's a lot. So we're wrapping that up so they can go live almost within the next few days, actually, to go on
Cool. That is
avail
so
go avail
cool. Yeah.
become available. That's a lot. But and then after that is finished, a couple of big. So I continue to do events. I love doing my live events, so I continue to do live events. Those are fairs here in New Jersey, but that's Pennsylvania, perhaps Maine coming up. Be down at haven't even announced it yet, but I'll be working on a few other projects coming up, and I have some more writing that I'm also working on. So fingers crossed that I get the
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
thumbs up on that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So what other events are you doing this year or next
Oh
year,
my
Star?
God. I don't know as yet because I have a lot of few things up in the air as to what I'm going to try to do. I would love to go to Europe and do some workshops and stuff for people with the different events. I love
Mm-hmm.
traveling, so
Yeah,
get me on a plane and I'm going anywhere and everywhere. Um,
right on.
I'm that person that be doing that, so I'm open for a lot of different things. And hey, we just have a lot ahead of us, and I would like to see a lot
Yeah.
more accomplished. How about you?
Right. Yes, definitely. Lots happening. So this year, this weekend, actually, as of tomorrow, I will be at a Touch Mother Earth event. It's a weekend event, so people are starting tonight with the camping, and they'll be wrapping up on Sunday. That's here in New Jersey. Camp Sacagawea in Central Jersey. You can probably get tickets still. Again, it's a Touch Mother Earth event. Then I have just daily events, events here and there. I'll be doing again Sasha Graham's events the last Tuesday of the month out down at in Brooklyn. So I'll be doing those events, and I have just a lot of single events coming up. I have StarCon coming up. Yay!
Nice.
That'll be in January of next year. We had a plan to go to do a tarot retreat since it's all about cards for me, a tarot retreat in Colombia. But we're moving that to next year, 2024. So that will be coming up next year. And then, like you, there are lots of open schedules, but we're gonna see
We're
what
gonna fill that up.
comes.
We're gonna fill those up. we're gonna fill
Yes,
those up.
indeed. And of course,
But yeah,
Witches Fest
yeah,
next year.
yeah.
And as you said,
And
expansion,
time is running
expansion.
away
But
from us here. I want to get you see, it's because we're doing the interview of both of us, and that's the reason the
yeah,
time is
we're
running away
done.
from us.
Yeah,
But
we are.
hey, this is good.
We are pretty much at the top with at the max
Yeah,
here. We have
yeah.
maybe a
So
minute or
let's see
two
if we can
left.
do the quick astrology and the tarot and
Yes. Let's see what we can do. So
well, I
before
hope you
we
guys
lose
enjoyed a
the
quick intro
entire
of
time,
myself and Rhonda. Just so that, I hope you guys
yeah,
enjoyed
that
that.
was,
Yeah.
yes. So here we are, astrology time.
All righty. So we are going to kind of go over a
Yes.
little bit of what's coming up in September. Although the month, it's hard to follow up a month like August because August really had a lot of things happening in the skies that wowed us, like the Perseus shower, and it had a lot of other astronomical events. But this year, September does its best. The September night sky will be full of interesting astronomical events, and September signals a season change, and we all know that the whole thing about the chance for you to see the aurora, which begins to shift the hemispheres. It's the perfect time
Yes.
to plan your trip if you want to go to the northern lights, or for those who live in the northern hemisphere. Okay. September 1st begins the peak of the Aurigid meteor shower. Venus began its retrograde in Leo in a sign associated with creativity, self-expression, and flair. A sign that's, well, that little extra that they can be, since July 22nd, and it's going to end on September 3rd, and it will stay retrograde for 40 days, which is up till September 3rd, and goes direct again on September 4th at 12 degrees Leo.
Mm,
Venus goes retrograde very rarely. So when it does go retrograde, it influences us much more strongly than a Mercury retrograde, for example. Okay. And because of
mhm.
that, because Mercury comes more often, even, and imagine the fact that Mercury does kind of screw up a few things there. But imagine the fact that Venus, because it doesn't retrograde that often, affects us even more. So you can just imagine what we're talking about. Okay. It could be harder to access your sovereignty or signature shine during that time. The relationships or art forms that you use to bring sparkle to your life may feel underwhelming, or it could hasten your evolution as a creator, performer, and lover. Listen to that part, the lover part, I'm telling you.
Yes.
On the other side of this journey, the people and projects that amplify your shine will be obvious. You'll inch closer to what it means for you to love and create in a way that honors the deepest and most honest parts of you. All right.
Right on. Excellent. So bear with me whilst I do my review here. My notes are on the side. Sorry, you guys. But okay, so Venus being the sign of relationships and Leo being a particularly passionate makes it a living from the heart Venus placement. Venus retrograde in Leo invites us to listen to our heart. Do we feel joyful and alive? Are we happy in our relationships? In the sign of Leo, Venus retrograde is about a reclaiming passion, romance, and everything that lights you up. Ask yourself, is your heart in it? Do you love it? Do you feel more alive after you do it? Leo lives and loves big. It's ruled by the sun, the center of our solar system. Start taking up your space if you haven't made enough room for yourself. It's so easy to play small, and we all tend to play small. That's just kind of where we tend to go. This might seem weird, but it just means expressing yourself fully. So don't adjust yourself to fit someone else's image. It's also a great time to reconnect with your creative side and what you desire most.
All right. And Venus retrograde tends to catch us by surprise because it only occurs every 18 months and only for a period of 5 weeks. So the planet governs how we relate, what we're attracted to, and our creative inspiration. So get ready to reflect on relationships, and what again? Relationships. Okay. The ones you have with yourself, your immediate family, and the world at large. This retrograde would also highlight the necessity for the oppression of the feminine to be reconciled. So that whole bit, the abortion rights and oppressing women and all of that, this is heavily leaning on us to do something about it. Okay. You will also be asked to explore your creative inspiration and how you express your heart's truest desires. As change seldom occurs voluntarily, this period can bring outside circumstances to evoke an expression of what you need to do to welcome more love into your life. Remember, as within, so without. Do your inner work now. Find that harmony within, connect fully with your heart's desired expression, and it will undoubtedly be mirrored without. Let yourself feel into the truth you may have been holding back. And when Venus finally goes direct, let it all out.
Right on. So, some things to observe or consider. September 4th, we're conjunction of the moon and Jupiter. Next up is Jupiter's best viewing opportunity of the month. After sunset on September 4th, the moon and Jupiter will appear close together in the sky. At their closest, they'll be a mere 3 degrees or 3.4 degrees apart, about the distance of the three stars in Orion's belt for context. September 9th, peak of the Perseid meteor shower. So, have you noticed it lately? Venus is really bright, y'all. You can't say you haven't seen it. If you've been up before the sun lately and looking eastward, you've seen Venus in the sky, the brightest thing. This is because Venus is reaching its greatest brightness on September 18th. This is the brightest Venus will be in the morning sky before it starts to swing back toward the sun and eventually appear in the evening skies again. September 22nd is the September equinox. So this year, the seasons officially change. This is when they officially change, called the autumnal equinox in the northern hemisphere and the vernal equinox in the southern hemisphere. Signals the point where Earth experiences roughly equal lengths of day and night. So it's a cool time to consider our planet's place in the solar system and how we orbit around the sun.
All right. September, and that's another thing I forgot. You got to mention that app, so that they can see all these different things going on. If they can't
Oh
see it,
yeah.
there's an app. Go ahead, tell them about that one, Rhonda.
Yeah, the app, I have it actually on my phone, I'd have to pull it up, but yeah, I use that app all the time to find exactly where the planets are in the sky.
Yeah,
Makes it
and
easy
it
for
looks
me.
so nice on her phone. Oh my God, that's
Yeah,
okay.
it's called
So
Skyview.
okay, there you go.
Skyview is the
Sky
app.
View. Okay. And
Yes.
that's a great app to have on your phone. In any
Mhm.
case, on the morning of September 23rd, you'll be able to see Mercury about 16 degrees above the eastern horizon just before sunrise. This is a great opportunity to head out and try to spot the smallest planet. On September 26th, there's a close approach of the moon and Saturn. After two close approaches in August, Saturn does not appear near the moon again until the end of September.
Mm,
Specifically, on the night of September 26th, the moon and the Saturn will appear within 2 degrees, 25 feet of each other in the night sky. That's not much. That's
mhm,
really close. Okay.
mhm,
A quick reminder that Jupiter in Taurus, that began on May 16th of this year, it will end next year, May 25th.
mhm,
May 25th, 2024. Jupiter, again, as a reminder, is about expansion and the removal of obstacles. And Taurus is about our essential needs. So during this time, we will be challenged. Since May, we began that challenge. And we're going to make sure that as you get closer to going into next year, it's going to become a little bit more challenging. So you have to, during that time, we will be challenged to confront whether we are removing the obstacles to people's and our own essential needs. So all
mhm,
those things that have been blocking people from the basic needs, the essential needs of life, blocking other
mhm,
people and yourself, make sure that you continue to remove those obstacles. Okay? See yourself
mhm,
doing that. In particular, how can we help others access their basic needs? Think of those things. An example is the
mhm,
recent drought in Texas. Texas is
mhm.
running through where they're being told that if they're not using water within a specified time, they'll be fined over $2,500. And they're not
Yeah,
playing with
yeah,
that
it's
because
tough.
they're having
Yeah.
issues of drought. our
Mhm.
abortion health rights, all of those things we have to reckon with and remove the obstacles that's preventing us from having. That's a basic essential right, abortion
Yeah.
rights. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
health
It's
thing for
basic health.
women. Okay, it's a basic thing.
Basic health.
So all those basic things we have to be accountable for. Remember
Mhm.
me talking
Mhm.
about witches in general being accountable for things?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Here
this
we
is
go.
us.
There's an
Here we are.
example.
Okay, go ahead, Ron.
Yes. All right. So because Taurus too can be about building things easily. So we want to take a lot of care around not falling into overdoing, over consuming, overthinking, or overspending. Sometimes, some things to keep in mind. We have the Mercury retrograde August 23rd, which we've just moved into, and through September 15th. Each year, Mercury goes retrograde in a specific elemental sign. This year, Mercury retrogrades in earth signs. So, what does the planet of communication and information do with when influenced by earth signs? It directs our attention to the information that moves through your body. The invitation is to take in information not just from the usual heady places, but from understanding how others communicate through their body language. Yeah, how information moves through the body. Listen to your body.
All right.
Listen to your body and notice other people through
Okay.
their bodies. Well, thank you so much for that. Now it's time to pull cards.
All right.
All
So
right.
it's tarot time. So I want you guys to pull a card for revealing more insights into how September will play out for us as a people in general, across the board, across the world, across the
Yeah.
US. How will this, what more insights can we garner from it? Okay, so we're going to pull one card.
Shut up. It was a jumper and I couldn't go past it.
Oh my
It's the
gosh.
chariot.
Oh dear
Yeah,
goodness.
I have the chariot
You have
and
the
it's
chariot.
just interesting. And what do you
I
have?
have the world. Look at this.
The world. Look at this, major arcana cards all around.
Yeah,
I have the chariot and it's the card that says, "Hey, you know what? First of all, it's the card for 2023. So I'm excited about that. What do we need to know about September is that it's time to move past what we've always done. And I think that's a really important message. Staying in our comfort zone. And I'm going to use this language when I look at this card because that cityscape in the background here, that's the world that we've all known, all those buildings and whatnot that we see in the
right,
back.
right,
Like, I don't know if I can point this out, but that's these buildings just represent this is the world that we've always been in. And this guy is on the other side of the river about to step into what? Figuring out what comes next. This is the beginning, as they call it, the beginning of the spiritual journey. It's time for us to go beyond where we've always been. And hey, look deeper. It's a time to really look deeper. That's what I see when I see this card coming up for September. We have to go beyond just thinking that it's just about our material world. We
right.
need to really be deep into digging into other things.
All right.
I'm
So,
going to stop rambling because we're out of time, but go ahead.
okay, we're out of time. I'm gonna quickly. My card is the world, and if you look at it, it's got everything in there. It's got the human beings, but every animal is represented: reptiles, birds, land animals, everything, and then the earth itself,
Mhm,
whether it's Father, the Green Man, or whatever. They're all there
mhm.
representing, and it's saying how much everything is being affected. And I know a lot of people don't believe in climate change, but there's a lot of changes and it's affecting everything that is a sentient being on this planet.
Yeah,
That means not just us, but every living being. Every
yeah,
plant, every animal, everything is being affected, and it's up to
yeah,
us to do something about it. We have
yeah.
a right,
And
and yeah, go ahead, sweetie.
no, I was just going to say it. It means we can't just keep doing things the way we've always done it. We have to
No,
go outside the regular way
yeah,
of doing things, and we have to branch it out. We can't just do it the old-fashioned way. That's part of this. This is a
yeah.
journey
It has
forward.
to have changes. There has to be
Mhm.
like literally absolute changes. People have got to make some things that You are seeing it on the in front of them, the different changes. We have got to do more than we've been doing
Yep.
and remove so much of our global print that we have on this planet and destroying it. There's a lot of
Right
things
on.
there and a lot of, and it's not, to me, it's the snakes, the I'm not said snakes, the reptiles, the birds, the animals, the plants, everything is literally there's a plea there. Do
Yeah.
something about
Yeah.
it. There's a
Do
lot of things in
something.
our control and we can do it together. Okay, just saying.
Yes.
All right.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
So, yes, thank you everyone for joining us on this.
Yes, hold on.
Well, I'm not going to say unconventional, but it was a different type
We
of
thank you
show
all
tonight,
for
wasn't
being
it?
here
Yes.
tonight. And don't forget to check out our other shows. We've got the Magickal Witchy World productions of a little bit hint of magic, a hint of what is the other one? A hint of a
A hint of magic.
high luminous. I'm always saying that so wrong. But anyways,
That's
I am
okay.
so
I'll
sorry if I'm
show the
always,
commercial.
doing that wrong. But you say it then. Go ahead.
I'm going to show the commercial.
Okay, good.
Here
Good,
it
good,
is.
good. That's
Our
better than
shows
me.
are these.
All right, that's awesome. So I don't have to
Makes
say the
it
names anymore
easier. Exactly. No.
and spill any
And
names. So
again,
thank you, and thank you. And
and
yeah,
thank you all for
everyone in the
joining
chat.
us.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Thank you, everyone in the chat. We want to also just say we have coming up next week. Who do we have
Oh
coming up next
yes,
week?
yes, yes. Mambo
September
Elizabeth
1st.
Ruth. That's going to be joining
Here
us
she
next.
is.
All right. I'm so glad to see that. All right. And don't forget to
Yes.
like, subscribe, and share us on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere else. And again, thank you all so much.
Thank you. Have a great week. We'll see you next Friday.
Yeah.